You
a
just
dad
dabbed.
dab. It's a dad dab.
Dad dab. I haven't heard of that.
Because you double down on the bad joke by doing it out of touch. You know, kids. Welcome to another episode of the Park Hopper Show with Jenna and Paul. And today, very excited, our first sponsor is brought to you by the letter Q. That's what we're talking about, right? No? I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about the fun line queues at the park. Now, I want to get started with just something that's been bothering me as I look into this. How would you, so for those who don't know, we're talking about the lines to get into the rides. Mm-hmm. How do you spell that?
Q-U-E.
See, that's funny because I would say that's not a word. And,
how do you spell it?
Well, the correct spelling is Q-U-E-U-E.
Oh, yeah. That is familiar.
I mean, it's a Q in four vowels. Yeah, it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. The Q is the worst letter in the alphabet because it does nothing without the U.
Look at all that support the Q needs.
Some would say that Jenna is the Q of this podcast. And why, Jenna? Because what does the Q need to do something?
Support.
From?
You.
Oh.
I got it.
Dad. I can't believe that setup worked so well. Oh, what a terrible joke. All right. I'm excited. Okay.
I like that. I'm going to use that in kindergarten.
Yeah, we give a bump for that.
You're the Q of the classroom. Why?
Because
you need me.
No, that's well. You're gonna have to work on that before because that's hard. It's a difficult setup, but the payoff is huge if you get it. So, anyway, we're talking about what you wait in, how you wait in line to ride, all those fun rides. So you want to,
which is an attraction in itself.
Can
sometimes.
Be. Well, we're going to find out some of them are not, in fact. But
okay.
Are you want to talk
go
about
ahead.
something? Oh, well, I mean, we've talked about in the past. We did Pixar, we did rankings and things like that. But I just wrote down some that I like, some that I don't like, and some middle ones. But so we've talked about this before. Regionally, we are close to the Kentucky Kingdom. We're fairly close to Kings Island in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they've got some fun rides at those places. They're not themed like Disney World, but on a hot summer day, you get in that line and they've got the classic snake system where you're just walking, breathing everybody's COVID air, looking at them, and you get like a line buddy where you're like guy in the hat, and then you go this way and you're like guy in the hat again, and it's the same people, and they just force you to look at the same people over and over. So
they don't really have themes in their lines? I haven't been there forever.
Well, Kentucky Kingdom's theme right now is you need a parental person. You're going to fight in the parking lot. So they're having some trouble. But the last time I was at Kings Island, there was no theming other than you should have worn sunblock because it's hot. And there's no shade. There's no, I don't know who owns it anymore. It used to be for like a brief minute, it was Paramount. And then they were like, this is Top Gun, and this is something. But then all they had was like whatever Paramount owned on like a TV, like music videos. One summer, we went there with my church youth group, and we watched Blind Melon's No Rain music video about 45 times. The little girl in the bee costume dancing. And that's what I think about every time I hear that song, is that ride, because it was atrocious. But those lines are terrible because you just see 8 million people, and you're like, man, that ain't moving fast. And I think Disney might be somewhat guilty of it, but some places now you start in and you're like, oh, there's like 50 people, and then you get behind a wall and you're like, sweet sassy molasses, there's a whole they've just hidden the crowd behind this wall, so it looks good. But Disney is now, I don't know when this started, but they have themed a lot of their lines. So while you're waiting, and we're talking pre-cell phone days, people, we were here before you could just get on there and,
play
crush
around,
some candy or do whatever whatever was going on. We had to just sit and stare. Got in the hat. A lady that's shirt didn't fit. Oh, here they come again. So they've upped their game since then. So Does anything stand out to you? I know I saw some of the top sites, and the best themed ride was one I've not been on. So,
is that the Rise of Resistance?
it was not.
Oh,
it was because that's still like such a mobile thing. Like it's not a.
Well, I was going to talk about that.
Oh, well.
Because it is we talked about the Rise of the Resistance is like 20 minutes long.
Okay.
And it's because
the ride
it's
itself
kind
is
of
20 minutes
tricky because the line queue is part of the ride.
long. Oh, well, no
So-
spoilers though.
You feel like you're in an attraction, you're in a ride, you're going from room to room, but really like they're moving the line through. But
that's cool.
each room is an attraction in itself. So that is like a new way, I think, of doing things is, you're in line for 15 minutes, but you don't even realize it. It's part of the ride.
Star Wars question.
No.
What is a greater attraction, the new Rise of the Resistance ride, or Rey and Kylo Ren at the end of that movie inexplicably? Because there seemed to be a lot of attraction there for no reason. So I'm not sure which is better. I've not been to the ride yet.
You love that part.
No, man, I've never been more angry at a movie. So
funny.
So speaking of that one, on my list of ones before, I've not been on that one, but the Star Tours, the classic, is still, to me, that is one of them that really, when they started making good themes, because growing up as a Star Wars nerd, as I was, when you go there, you're like, wow, I'm actually indoor, walking through these trees, there's an AT-AT walking around. And now you look at it and go, nah, there's no digital screens, there's no, there's no extra things. But for someone, again, who just grew up where all you saw were all the people in line, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you go inside and you're inside of a Star Wars spaceship of some sort, and there's robots and all kinds of stuff. And it really, while you're waiting in that line, it really does, as a small child at least, back when you had magic in your life, you're like, this is amazing. I feel like I'm part of the show.
Right.
When you weren't. So.
And of course now it takes more to entertain people.
Yeah, I mean.
Than it used to.
You always just need to get over it. Come on. Well, the ride I was talking about was the Pandora rides.
Yes. Those are
they're
great.
not called, what is it? What are they called? What's
Avatar.
Flight
of Passage. Navi River.
Yeah, Flight of Passage is what everybody's talking about, of how cool it is, because it's like you're on that planet that no one's ever seen the movie in 20 years, but it's cool.
You got blue men in jars.
Really? That's what Gargamel wanted to do on the Smurfs. He wanted to get them, put them in the jars. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that fits in, but I'm sure ready to listen. Oh man.
So yeah, I do think that is becoming more of a thing when they create these new rides. Is to make the line queue entertaining, because let's face it, you're going to be in line, right?
Can I help you with something? She cleared her throat, like perhaps.
I have a daughter that's hungry. What are you looking for? It's in there.
Jelly? You could use some Chick-fil-A sauce. I could see that in here. It's in the door. There might be jelly up in that top shelf of the drawer too.
Look back behind stuff. It's in a jar. Okay.
Not
anyways.
blue men.
So I think Avatar kind of jump-started that, I feel like. I mean, all the rides have things they can do in line. Like, even, the gross one in Winnie the Pooh. Do you know this?
I've never ridden Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, so in Winnie the Pooh, there is this interactive wall where, like, you touch it and stuff happens. So kids are touching and rubbing all over it while they're in line. So I used to never let my kids touch that wall. But
that was before.
That was before COVID. But I think over time, the lines have gotten more entertaining. But then I do think Avatar kind of took it off a little bit further.
Yeah.
And Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Well, that's also on my list.
That's on your list, okay.
Now, they've taken away the digital game, I heard, where you would digitally mine.
Probably. I haven't.
It's getting real cold in here, guys. So I saw that online that they had taken that away, but they've made interactive, like, diamonds and stuff, like jewels and gems and things that you can tap. And I remember when we went, when my daughter was real little, they had, like, when you could spin and it would show stuff on the ceiling. It was like, it's interactive. I'm sure everybody's touched it as they go by, but that wasn't a thing. We were all just filthy. And
True.
But it was like, there's something to do in line other than stand in line. So that Mine Train was definitely on my list of ones that they're going the right direction with. So I don't want you to steal any of mine.
Okay, I won't steal anymore.
Now, another one that I really like is the Muppets. The Muppet 3D show.
Oh, so like the little pre-show?
Because it's a queue, but you get in line into a theater, and they show you a little show that's like a pre-show. So you're not actually
and you could sit
at
down.
the thing. And it's like, you get in, you relax, and it might take 15, 20 minutes to load everybody up, but you're getting, it's like an episode of The Muppet Show. If you like that, I do. My kids, they don't love it. It's driving a wedge in between me and my children, but...
Well, the new Muppets isn't the same.
It's the old Muppets. They don't watch the new Muppets. They don't care for Muppets.
Gotcha.
They've grown up with the internet. So, anyway, I enjoy that quite a bit because, like I said, it's another 20 minutes out of the sun, and it's almost like another show.
Now, do you know what line queue I really like but has no entertainment?
I would love to hear.
Soarin'. Is that on your list?
That is on my list of worst. But
Really? Here's what I like about it, though. It's such a wide space, and it's inside.
That's good.
And they let a lot of people on at a time. So, like, you stand, or we sit on the floor. We sit there for a few minutes, and then you move pretty far up, and then you just
Applesauce.
have room. Sit crisscross applesauce.
That's right.
You just have a lot of space to move around, and now there's nothing entertaining to do.
That was my issue. Yeah.
But tip of the day.
Do we have a tip of the day? Is it coming now?
My tip of the day. You had.
It turned off.
Oh, hold on.
My speaker died. That's a bummer.
Let's try it again.
Well, now it's all... we're going to leave all this in to see how unprofessional I am, but she's got a... Boy, that dance didn't go with the music at all, but that's fine. All right.
Tip of the day, and this isn't a big secret. I think a lot of people do this, but it's just to have something to do in line. Rather it be a deck of cards, if you're like that. You can sit there and play Uno.
You flip them over.
Bring your poker
Busted.
glasses.
You're busted. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
On your phone, we've played the Ellen's Heads Up game. We've done that. So the reason I brought this up now is because we've done it in Soarin', and then the families in front and behind us started playing with us too. So it was like this big group interactive thing playing Heads Up.
Oh, nothing I could think of worse than meeting strangers and playing with them. Like, what's up, hat guy? George Clooney.
Snacks. I think having a snack in your backpack for long lines. A snack in your backpack.
All right.
Snack in your backpack for the long lines.
Boy, no, all right.
Okay. Like trail mix. Paul got a new toy. Yay. Trail mix, crackers, goldfish, something to munch on that makes the time go by. But
turkey leg.
We used to do one year, I printed all these Disney trivia questions and we would quiz each other.
There's got to be one of those online.
There's
got to be one you can just download Disney
Oh,
trivia.
I did. That was part, I think I downloaded
What would you all be interested if Jenna put that together for you as part of your sales?
Boy.
Here's my PDF of all my games, my
trivia
and a clipboard.
So I think especially with little ones, you can even do like those little bitty coloring books or like the little wet marker thing, where you get it wet and you can color something small.
Not like a dry marker. You don't want those. They don't write on them.
No.
You're talking about ones that are just water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something small you can slide into your backpack. With that, we're moving over to Universal. I have something.
Go ahead.
There are some amazing line queues at Universal that we'll talk about. But the trick with it is, at Universal, you have to put your stuff in a locker for the rides. So you don't have your stuff on you. So, which that's a whole nother topic in itself, is the lockers. But
are you saying if I have my little water pins that I've actually just put liquor down in, I have to put those in the locker? That's come on, Universal, come on.
Now you might still have your phone on you, but
Universal, you can walk in with a 6-pack on a ring. I feel like though that place is very different from Disney.
Yeah.
You just throw into the guy in the front.
But a lot of their lines, you don't need entertainment because their lines, especially in Harry Potter, Wizarding World, is their lines are amazing. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, I have not been to Universal in quite some time, I'm sad to say. And I have one on my list, though, as one of my all-time favorite queues was E.T. At that, because it's how old is that? How long has it been there? Forever? Since it was like opening, one of the opening rides,
I think the movie came out 30 years ago.
No, the movie came out longer than that, like 40 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to get it.
Okay.
You know, it's, E.T.'s pretty old. But that ride, though, how long has that park been open? Any idea?
No.
Okay, I don't know either. But that ride, you walk into that forest, and it's just like, it's so cool.
And you hear the little computer.
Well, there's that because they ask you your name and they do all that stuff.
They don't do that anymore,
Well,
but they used to, yeah.
But then like those like crickets, and it's like you're actually in a forest, but you're in a building, and like that was the first, to me, first like, the first really cue that you're like, wow, this is something different. This is not the rides at home. This is somebody put some effort into this. And this is amazing. And I mean, that ride is cool. I like the ride, but it's not really any different than like Little Mermaid or all those things. Right now that you look back at it, it's just
I mean, the
like
ride,
a dark ride they're showing you, but it's so like the presentation is so astounding for what it was and when it was made, and I love it. 82, 40 years next year, ET. So grandma, 40 years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
you were also born in 82, is that
83.
Right? Oh,
thank you.
I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You want some hard candy? Because I'm getting there. I know you kids and your hard candy. All right, so what else at Universal? Anything cool?
Oh, well, if we're going over there.
Well, you're the one
I went there, I know. So the Harry Potter rides, even if you are like me and there are a couple of the Harry Potter rides I can't do because they make me a little sick. I'm a muggle. I still go through the line with my family because it's so neat. So Hagrid's, that line, you're kind of climbing up the mountain. You pass his little hut, and you see the roller coaster all around you. So that's fun. And that ride is the motorbike, and so it's like the motorcycle sound, and so it's kind of surrounding you.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. You're there. Close your eyes. Vroom, vroom, Harry. Yeah. Vroom, vroom.
I feel like I'm there. Yeah. The Forbidden Journey is inside the Hogwarts Castle. So you walk through that to get to that ride. And so there's no other way to get in the castle except that line queue. The Gringotts, Escape from the Gringotts, you're walking through. So many Harry Potter rides, to be honest. There's a lot. So. You walk through the Gringotts Bank. And so they have all of the animatronic wizard type bankers.
Whoa. With the air quotes.
So they're sitting there typing and they're looking around at you, and you're in the Gringotts Bank. It's beautiful. There's portraits hanging everywhere that like interact with you, you know, because that's the thing. Like the pictures in Harry Potter come to life, you know.
Spoiler alert. I do know we're starting to watch those movies now with the kids.
So those are a lot of fun. The King Kong queue is kind of creepy.
King Kong queue. Now I have not. Now what King Kong is this? Skull Island? Is that a thing? Oh, I mean that's not.
Now the new ride, Velocicoaster.
I was going to ask you.
Their line queue is pretty crazy.
Every time you say that, I think you're going to say Lion King.
Line queue.
Line queue. So
that's true.
It's getting.
So they have the raptors that are kind of caged up, like their mouths have a muzzle on them.
I was watching your hands to see what you were. I didn't know where that. They're having up. So
the raptor.
Yeah.
And then it has a muzzle on it, and it's like
you want
moving
a muzzle
around.
On your raptor. I don't know if you've seen those movies. They bite you.
Yeah. So they look pretty real. They're like caged up and stuff.
I just winked at her while she's eating her cereal.
Oh goodness. So yeah, I think Universal has some really fun line queues, but Star Wars, Avatar, Mine Train, those stand out to me as some of the best ones.
Now,
what else
I'll tell
do you
you,
have?
I have my two real favorites, and they kind of go hand in hand because of their theming. I think that the Haunted Mansion is great because
that one is a fun one.
Depending on when you get to that little awning area, because once you get to the awning, you get past the line where it says Fastpass or whatever, then it gets good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the last time I was on it, the line for the Fastpass was down to that riverboat area. It was so far because something had gone awry.
Oh.
And I was like, this is the Fastpass line. I'm going to miss it. And I ended up talking to people in line, which is, my favorite thing, but they were very nice. But once you get in there, it's themed so cool. And I didn't know they had, there's all kinds of little stories. There's like the little ring that's on the ground. There's all the little tombstones you can read the names. Do they have the wall that you can touch and play the instruments? Is that a thing?
That's still there.
I didn't even know that was there until I did my research for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you can play the instruments.
So if you go to the Germs in the Pooh wall and you come down and you start touching them.
A lot of the tombstones I just read about are, some of the names are some of the creators of the ride. Or people that Walt knew and things like that. So there's some special names all around that area. Yeah. That one is really fun. And with that, it's kind of another tip.
So I don't know if they can hear it. It'd be funny if you were just dancing and there's no sound. All right.
So, the ride itself has that pre-room.
Mm-hmm. The stretch room.
The stretch room. Some kids are really scared of that, and you can bypass that. Some people don't know that, but you can ask to stand out of that, and they will let you if you've got a kid that does not like to be in the dark, because it does shut the lights off for like 3 seconds.
If you don't want to hear about people killing themselves or being
that's true.
People, which is very...
And then the room stretches and there's no way out. If that kind of creeps your kids out, you can hold back, and then when they finish that room and let everybody through, you can go through.
Well, I until recently didn't realize it's a little dark. It's a little rough, the story behind it. So I was like, it was just entertainment.
Now,
we made this ride.
Do you have the Toy Story rides on there?
No, well, I'm part 2 of my.
Oh,
the Tower of Terror is also the same way.
I've not ridden it.
You've never ridden the Tower of Terror?
No, I think I did when I was little.
Okay, the Tower of Terror also has the haunted theme, and it's basically you're going so much like Star Wars doesn't have a lot of interactivity. The Star Tours, the Tower of Terror is just you're in this old dilapidated hotel. And it's good because when you get in, we first started riding that was when it first came out. In the first couple summers we went, that line was atrocious. And it's still atrocious. Make no mistake, that line is ridiculous. But it's neat because you're actually in the hotel. There's not a lot to do. But it's like the good cues start building the anticipation up for the ride. And once you're in, you're just like, oh, we're here. You're getting that feel of, some people are Disney experts. And they, you go all the time. And sometimes you just forget that. Like some people will go once in their whole life, and this is like the most amazing thing to walk into this hotel and just go, I wonder what's going on. They start telling you a story, and you're like, we were down there.
Aww.
And it was dusty and gross, and you're like, I didn't have to clean this place because it's supposed to be, there's like cobwebs and stuff, and we were like, are those real cobwebs? Or are those like Disney magic, or are they just not letting, because it's just, a dusty old abandoned hotel downstairs, and you're like, this is amazing, and it's good because, like I said, that line is always long, but you're walking through like the outside of the hotel, there's like a topiary that's going to waste. It's cool. So the Toy Story ride also, I was going to say, for theming purposes, aces. It looks, because you're in the boxes and it's
I do love that.
Not a lot to do.
I'll say not a lot to do, and very hot.
And you can see that line. That's one of them that you're like, whoa.
And I will say with COVID, since they're spacing people out, now it's better now that it's 3 feet. When it was 6 feet, that Slinky Dog line was backed up all the way to the Little Mermaid.
Oh.
Because it was so spaced out.
At the Magic Kingdom? No. That far? That's a pretty big one. Well, the time I rode that, I went from rope drop there, and it was still a 45-minute line from rope drop. Like, I couldn't get there. I was like, what? These people, how do they get in here so fast?
But I do love looking around in that line, but it is hot. Those lines are hot.
That is, Disney's, they're not perfect. They could put up some shade in there. That's the one.
I think they have added a little shade.
They put some umbrellas.
They put some umbrellas up. They do have fans and the little misters going, but those lines are hot. I don't know why they did all of that outside. But the games and the dice and the monkey, all those things all around you are really fun. I like seeing that.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're little and you're walking like, oh, we're a toy.
Box
we're
of
toy
crayons.
size. Yeah, you're toy size basically while you walk through there. So it is very cool, but it is hot, and I don't know how you even fix that. I don't.
Well, no, at this point, I don't think they can.
I don't remember another area of Disney World where it's that hot in the line, because everything, that's been the one complaint I've heard about Toy Story, being in line for the food before the mobile order.
Yeah.
Being in line for all that stuff, you're just out there. There's no.
Toy Story Land is hot. Another one that's really hot is the safari. That line is hot and humid.
But you're going on a safari, so it's like it's
part of
building
the
up.
theme.
It's not even if you go in December, they've got the heat cranked up. It's coming out of the rocks just so you get real hot.
Now, what about doing the Kali River Rapids with everybody's ponchos?
Well, if you're taking a poncho, you can just take a hike, because
That's what we do.
you can just take a hike. Goodness gracious. The Kali River Rapids, you're going in there because it's 100 degrees and you're just like, come on, waterfall. The one poor woman on mine the last time, she was the one in there that did not want to get wet, and boy, that thing like hit the rapid there and
Drenched
stopped.
her.
You know, it like she pivot right there. And like the water was on her, and it was just spun and stayed on her, and we're like, we're all dry, ma'am. You're so wet.
Oh man.
So yeah, I don't mind that at all. So that kind of brings me to, so some of the ones like we talked about, the theming like Star Tours. That was a good thing they did. Like when they first built Disney World, a lot of the rides like Small World. Mm-hmm. They kind of did a good job, because you see all the lines, but you see how with rides that are constantly going like that,
yeah,
you see,
the constant ones are the best.
so the line looks long, but they also, you can see the end from the start. And even though you go snake through, you're always seeing that this thing is not, it looks long, but it's moving. Like they did, that's what perplexes me about some of these, is that, 40 years ago or 50 years ago, they did a great job. And sometimes you're like, you could have really used this now. But those kind of rides I like, because the theming is good, but you see that little, even like Small World, like on the outside they've got a little jump going before you get on your boat.
Well, and Hagrid's over at Universal is it's a roller coaster, and it's one of those, it doesn't stop to let people on. Like you're chasing it to jump on,
Whoa.
You're like on a moving sidewalk to get onto it. So that line, even though it's a long line because it's a fun ride, we're never in there more than 30 or 45 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah, because it just continuously moves.
So the stink, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Another good line, Q, is the train at Harry Potter. Well, you were like really in a train station
now
with the owls and the suitcases and everything.
Austin is gone right now, her husband. Are you going to secretly marry the Harry Potter land? Because you can't stop talking about the Harry Potter land, all right? Because some of us,
I guess because we were there most recently, but they do, and the Harry Potter land is so new that their stuff.
They did it right, though.
They did it right.
I mean, Toy Story, the rides are cool, but it's hot.
It's hot.
Come on.
I remember the first time we went after it opened, I was like, seriously, there is no shade.
There's none. Just the shade people are giving them online about there being so much heat. So it's a little rough. But like some of the original rides, like I like Space Mountain. It is cool, cute, and it's aged like Epcot. It's like, look, it's future when you walk in and it's space. But like 50 years ago, you're like, this is amazing, and the line's never too long anymore.
The
but
Frozen ride is good. The line.
Yeah, if you're one of those people who don't who are happy that the Maelstrom is gone.
Oh.
Controversial. So that's most of my good. Really everything at Magic Kingdom I think is good. It's really the new parks that are having the trouble. Space Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean. It all kind of sets the scene for the big rides when you're like, I'm here and I'm part of it. I mean, like it's a theme park. It's supposed to have a theme. And I think most theme parks don't have themes for some reason. They just have roller coasters. So
true. I
think that's how Disney sets apart now. Now, one of them that I saw that seemed controversial, but I like it, the Journey into Imagination with Figment. Oh. It's so ridiculous and silly, but they
haven't done that in a long time.
Well,
what is?
Most people don't. It's so dated.
The queue?
But it's wonderful. Oh, the whole ride. The
ride is. But what is the queue? I don't remember.
It's got like all the little It's got Robin Williams and the guy from. Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. He's the guy that's in it. He's a British comedian, and I can't think of his name. He's very good. Anyway, it's got Rick Moranis. It's got all like the little doctors, and it's so 90s and just ridiculous inside.
Yeah.
And the line's not long, so you're like zip through.
Yeah.
But it's real cute because if you're of our age, it's like childhood. Look at that. They haven't painted it. They've not done. They just keep bringing it out of mothballs every 7 or 8 years when people get mad that Figment's not there. They're like, oh, we'll just open this door again. It's fine. There's nothing updated about it. So now we talked about Soarin'. We were split. And I know I've talked about it on another podcast.
Uh-huh.
You really love it when Disney does it right. And most of the time, in Universal, they do it right most of the time. But I will fight whoever says Aerosmith, Rock and Roller Coaster. That queue it's just something wrong.
I don't know that. I haven't ridden that one.
You've never ridden that one?
No.
Now, the ride is super fun. It's less than a minute, though, I feel like. It's so quick. You go upside down. You're in the dark. It's pretty cool. But, and people are like, it's got a little Aerosmith show. Like, they talk about it when you get inside. But only about 50 people are inside at that point after you've been in line for maybe an hour. If for whatever reason, the last time I was there forever. And outside, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no art on the wall. You can hear Disney Junior dance show or whatever's going on. There's no, like, you can hear Aerosmith kind of playing in the thing, but I mean, how much Aerosmith do you need? It's not an hour. I can tell you that. They're fine. I don't have any problem with them. I did not before the ride starts, but by the end of it, you're like, I can just go for anything.
You're done.
From Aerosmith, my goodness. But there's nothing. It's weird because it's so out of place in everything else that they do. And like I said, the ride's super cool. It's not near long enough for how long that line always is. I don't understand the appeal of that ride, but that line is
single rider.
Heartbreaking. Well, yeah, single rider. That's tip of the day. Boy, this is weird. Overdoing the soundboard today, but if there's a tip of the day is that if there is a single rider line, no matter how much you love the person with you, if they're small or if they're big enough that you can walk away from them for 10 minutes, get in that line and you stay in line together, ride it separately, meet up at the end, compare your stories, because that just so long in that line. It's hot. I mean, it's kind of covered, but that's the first time I saw people doing the game.
Okay.
They were tourists and they were playing that game, and I was like, you came all the way over from wherever you're from to sit in this line.
Stand in this line and play that game.
Oh my goodness, guys, I'm so sorry. We've got more going on in this country. Don't watch the news; it's not all terrible. But that line. So I think we've been very spoiled by the queues of a lot of them, and then you see something like that would be a basic queue at most places, and you're like,
what is going on?
This is not. Where's the fun stuff? So that's all of my notes.
I have a question for you. Okay. We've talked about the line queues, the line getting into the ride. What about coming off of the ride? Are there any of those little gift shops that really get to you?
Well, I will say
coming off rides, because every ride when you get off, you are in a gift shop automatically.
Disney really did that. They did a good job with figuring out that catch you at the point of you're most excited. You'll never be this excited about Space Mountain ever again. Why not a $30 t-shirt on the way out the door, or something you're going to lug around the park for your kid? To be honest, I am one of the cheapest people you've ever met. So I give them like that straight ahead. We're looking for daylight at the end.
Get out.
Come on, children.
So I've told this story in another podcast, but the ET ride. So when we got off the ET ride, you end up in the ET shop. I mean, really, how many ET things do you need to buy for your home? Okay, he's the ugliest little thing.
I'm showing zero in case you're not watching. Zero.
They do have a little photo opportunity there where you can like get on the bike and take a picture. They have like some green screen things you can do. But
yikes!
There was a dad, and the mom, I guess, had moved on, and the dad was in the shop with his two kids. Every episode. Okay. So the dad's in there with his two kids, and he is checking out. The mom comes in. He's at the counter paying $80-something. Okay? And we're all just sitting there watching all this go down. And the mom comes up, and she's like, what are you doing? And he said, they wanted ETs. These ETs were like, how big is that? 2 feet? 3 feet?
2.5. 3.
Yeah.
You can just say how long
they were like 3 feet big. Okay? Who's taking home a 3-foot ET for $40?
Drew Barrymore on her bicycle. I don't know. It seems like too many. It's
So
it's
the
gross.
dad, you know, that's just goes to show you that when you get off those rides, like you said, you're so excited about that ride. I mean, had his kids even seen the movie E.T.?
I was gonna say, do you know how many kids are at the mall? They're like, I want kids don't go to the mall. What kids are? I don't want to play Fortnite. I want my ET toys. Because those
They
weren't.
were so big and so ugly. So,
Now if they sell like Reese's Pieces in a
that would be fun.
like a Blizzard or something, there's your
Yeah.
You can have that one, Universal. You're
And
welcome.
our kids would always want to find the pin for that ride. You know, because we did the collector's pins, the trading pins, or whatever. So when they would get off the ride, that's what they would look for in the shop.
Universal, do they?
No. Well, they do have a few, but it's not really a thing like at Disney.
Try harder, Universal. Try that Blizzard idea, the ice cream with the candy.
But they do have the shops for sure. And when you get off the Avatar ride, you see everybody walking around with the bird on their
all
shoulder.
your favorite characters from Avatar. Right there. Blue girl, blue guy, other blue guy.
The bird.
Angry Marine.
The
Sigourney
banshee.
Weaver.
So that's the big thing there is the banshee,
Is that the
bird.
The thing
and
you
it
ride?
sits, yes, it sits on your shoulder and it like moves and does all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Never
so
mind. I'm not even going to.
they know what they're doing with those shops.
All right. Gross. Well, no, none of them stick out to me because, like I said, we are not those people. We are not. Now, my parents probably would have, or my mother, let's just say my mom, she would have been like, what do you, let's stop here. Oh, you want a 3-foot ET? Your dad will carry that around. And they were like, what? What are we doing? But luckily, was not 8 years old when we went to those things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, none of that really stands out. Do you have any other tips or fun things about queues? Because I think we might be just
Short
about,
and sweet today.
I mean, short-ish. It's 40 minutes. So
No, I think bringing something to do with you in line, especially if you have little kids.
yeah, and I mean, if you're not wearing sunscreen, wear your sunscreen to the park because, you know, you can complain about being hot, but I'm very fair complected, and some of those lines are just like you can just
Feel it peeling your
it's gonna
skin
be
off.
bad. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be.
Also, I guess we could talk about strollers.
Oh, sure.
So
This
you
is
can't take your stroller in the line. So
Yeah.
there at Disney there is stroller parking. There are designated
Oh,
spots
boy.
to park
Boy,
your
are there.
stroller.
If you think the parking lot is big at Disney World, the stroller parking lot is
And
twice
they
as
move
big.
your stroller. That's the
Do they?
Yes. So you
Oh.
put your stroller here, and then you get in line and you do your thing. You come back, it is not there. It is moved over there. So always have a way to mark your stroller.
Tip of the day is
We have like 6 tips.
if you
today.
go without your kids, well, this is an unofficial tip. You can just rifle through people's stuff and then leave it in the strollers, and it's fine. They say someone no one ever knows until you get home. But don't do that. That's terrible.
Great job.
You know what?
Paul.
There's people watching. You don't see them,
Oh yeah.
but there's people watching. You're not
Oh,
going
yeah.
to somebody's back there goofy coming out of there with a nunchuck. Nunchuck, not a nunchuck. You're under arrest. Gorsh. Yeah. Throw you in the whatever in the back with the Beagle Boys. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Good ending.
Okay.
So I was gonna say I had something real quick. Another good one, and it's good for now. Who knows what? I really like Splash Mountain. Mm-hmm. That's got a good. You don't even have to know the history of the ride and the characters. It's just fun, but all of it. Let's just say any ride you get on, it builds anticipation for the ride,
yeah.
and that's really what they do best there. So everything at the Magic Kingdom, I'd say, is pretty top notch, and it's mostly top notch everywhere else. But they really did it right the first time.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. How do you feel when you're in line? Are you nervous?
It depends what we're riding.
I get nervous. Austin makes fun of me because when we were in line for Hagrid's at Universal, my watch was like, my heart rate was so high. He was like, I don't know if you should ride this. Your heart is not in good condition right now.
She DoorDashed a milkshake to the line, and then it was fine. Calm down.
So I get really nervous in
depends
lines.
on what the
Even if
ride is.
I've ridden it over and over, I still get nervous in line. So
Yep.
I'm kind of like, I shut down a little bit. I'm kind of quiet, chewing my gum, putting some ginger on my tongue. I get nervous.
The only one I ever have an issue with is Tower of Terror, and it's only when I sit down and I'm like, well, I hate this. Why am I riding this? It's the funnest. Like, the ride is fun without the drop. I'm like, can we just ride it and then you let me off and then I'll take the stairs down? It's not as exciting, but that drop is always like, why am I doing this? But other than that, I don't get scared for the rides because I'm a big, strong man.
Yeah. I'm not.
Where's my big, strong man song? I don't have one.
Oh.
So, too bad. But
All right, line cues.
we had a good time.
There we go.
There's a great
Oh, look at that.
This is just taken straight off of Facebook or whatever. Copyright strike. That's what you mean. But that's a lot of fun. So see you later.
Bye. If you would like me to book and plan your next trip for free, click the link in the description below. Thank you and have a magical day.